Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I will be talking about 15 autistic traits, specifically in assigned female at birth, but some of these traits are experienced with males as well. So number 1 is sensory processing disorder. So essentially just having heightened senses, sounds feel sharper, lights are really bright, just picky and sensitive with food and its texture, like auditory and different things like that. Number 2, mental illness. So commonly, autism spectrum disorder will be first in girls, will be first misdiagnosed as general anxiety, social anxiety, depression, sometimes BPD, and different other mental health conditions. Number 3, inflexibility or dislike for change. So everyone has, I know a lot of people who actually enjoy change and need a constant change, which is common with people with ADHD. But with people with autism spectrum disorder, change is very detrimental and very challenging to cope with. Number 4, difficulty socializing. So the social experience in and of itself is challenging, and there's a strong preference for just being alone. So I highly value my alone time. I'm an introvert. I always describe myself as a socially awkward, socially anxious introvert. Basically, if I can be alone, amazing. If I can be with the select few people that I feel the most socially comfortable with, amazing. Going into a new social setting, no thank you. So number 5, lack of eye contact. So just in conversation with people, I always I'll force myself to make eye contact if it's somewhere where I need to try to appear neurotypical. If it's with someone that I'm more comfortable with or understands and knows that I'm autistic, I will not make eye contact. I used to think that it was just, an anxious thing, which it can be, but it would be around people that I was still comfortable with and there wasn't any anxiety. It was just the idea of making eye contact made me uncomfortable. But yeah, so where places where I have to appear neurotypical, I will try to make eye contact, but it just makes me really uncomfortable. Number 6, selective mutism. So selective mutism is essentially, for me personally, I would describe it as when I'm at a family dinner and everyone's talking, I will I'll want to be a part of the conversation, but I can't talk. Unless I'm directly spoken to, I won't speak. Number 7, black and white thinking. So I'm very either on either end of the spectrum for things. I'm not normally in the gray area. I either love something or I hate it. It's either good or bad. Things are always in the two extremes. Trouble with memory. Normally with people with ASD, trouble with memory is short-term. So short-term memory is where we struggle, but long-term memory is normally pretty good. I don't have a lot of long-term memories, but that's because of trauma. So I don't remember a lot of specifics about my childhood, but a lot of people with ASD will remember deep specific things that happened in their childhood. Number 9, meltdowns. So for me, I used to think that I was having panic attacks from, I would just get overwhelmed, but through research, I realized that I was actually having an autistic meltdown. And so they can be, for me at least, my meltdowns are very similar to panic attacks. Number 10, trouble conveying emotion. So I'm one of the people with autism who has hyper empathy. So I'm an overly empathetic person to the point where even fictional characters, like, it will, like, not just make me sad, like, it'll ruin me. And, like, I'll think about it for, like, months. Sometimes there'd be situations, and I just thought, like, I was just a really caring person, but, like, my friends would go through something happy, and I would almost be happier than they were. That's how happy I'd get. But being, like, trying to put my feelings into words is really difficult. Number 11, resistance to touch. So I despise, like, the idea of being touched. Like, it makes me physically cringe. But, like, even, like, in dating relationships, like, holding hands is a lot, where I just like to, like, if we link pinkies, like, that's enough physical contact for me. My best friend and I, we have one hug, a hangout, and it's at the end, as we're both on the spectrum, and closes off. It's a part of our routine. Otherwise, there's little to no physical contact. Just not my thing. Number 12, hyperfixation or a special interest. So hyperfixating is just really, like, everyone has things that they like or are passionate about, but it's that next level where it's obsession. For me, my special interests are anime, specifically Attack on Titan, and autism and mental health. So those are my two things that I know a lot about, and I can talk to you for hours about. And if you let me talk to you about it, I will probably stim happily and be just so happy. I will talk your ear off about anime and mental health. Number 13, stimming. So stimming is self-stimulatory behavior. So it can be anything from hand flapping. Like, for me, if I get really excited, I will hand flap like this. Hand flapping, this is a stim for me. It's any repetitive motion that just helps, like, self-regulate. Another stim that I have is I will rock back and forth, or I'll sway. Stimming can be, like, a lot of different things. Number 14, rehearsing conversation. So if I leave the room for any reason, like if I go to the bathroom, I will think of, like, a joke or a comment to make when I get back, and I will rehearse that in my head over and over until I get back, and then I will say my line. And that, I just thought that was normal. Nope, it is an autism trait. So if this is you and you relate to this, give me a thumbs up. And number 15, echolalia, which is the repetition of sound. So I always just called myself a parrot and, like, picked on myself for it, because, like, a vacuum would, like, make a little noise, and then I'd make that little noise, or there'd be a bird chirping outside and I chirped in response, or, like, someone falls and makes a weird noise, I make that weird noise, and that's echolalia. It can be anything from like hearing a random noise and repeating that noise to like hearing something on, for example, TikTok and repeating that audio. That's echolalia. Like something you hear in a commercial or anything like that, like any repetition of sound is echolalia. And there are neurotypical people who do that, like, but it's more frequent and more commonly found in people on the spectrum and neurotypical people. So those are 15 autism traits that I have and that I have looked into, and I thought that I would share with you guys. So if you have any of these traits, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you are looking to get an autism diagnosis, or if you already are diagnosed, or if you're self-diagnosed. Let me know, and I will see you guys next time.